Welcome to the lab safety video. When you are finished with this video, you should be able to locate the safety equipment in the lab, know the expectations for attire and behavior in lab, and know what to do in an emergency.
Hey guys, welcome to the chemistry classroom, A42. In this video, we're going to show you the locations of critical safety items and other items that will make your life easier in the lab. So here we go. On the left, when you walk in, you'll see a paper towel dispenser and a soap dispenser. And there are also various paper towel dispensers along the back wall and soap at each of the stations. You'll probably want to wash your hands after every lab that we do. In this area, there typically will be the student desks, and along the far wall, right under the Einstein, is a container of lab goggles. We won't be using lab goggles for every lab. However, when we do use them, you'll need to keep the lab goggles on from start to finish of the lab. That is, the last piece of glassware has been put away and you're totally cleaned up and you're done. Then the goggles will come off. Speaking of glassware, you'll notice that on the back wall are a whole bunch of cabinets with glassware. So we're going to learn the names of these pieces of glassware later this year. But in the lab, you can feel free to help yourself for getting what you need from any of these cabinets. And when you're finished, you'll wash or rinse the glassware depending on what we're using. If we're using just water, there's no need to wash the glassware. When you're done, you can just rinse. And then you'll put the glassware away. And it's totally fine to put it away if it's still wet.
In addition to lab goggles, there's some other really important safety equipment in the lab. Let's take a look at the locations of that equipment. Turning to face the front of the classroom, you'll notice that at the teacher demo table at the front, there's a fire extinguisher along the side. There's another fire extinguisher located right by the entrance door to the lab, next to the door for the prep room. Additionally, you'll find a fire blanket and another fire extinguisher located near the last lab table by the far wall. In the event of a fire, the first thing you should do is tell your teacher and listen for instructions. You should not have to use the fire extinguisher or the fire blankets because your teacher will usually step in and help in the event of emergencies. But you should be aware of where they are just in case. Also on the back lab table, you'll notice an eye wash. There's a second eye wash in the front corner of the classroom near the boards. The eye washes are for use if you should get something in your eye, a chemical in your eye that needs to be rinsed out. Again, always tell your teacher before using the eye wash. You'll also notice a safety shower above the eye wash. One final important location. You'll notice next to the front door, there's a big red button. That big red button is the emergency gas shutoff. At any time, should there be a gas fire or your teacher tells you that the gas shutoff needs to be triggered, just push the red button and that'll shut off the main gas supply to the room.
Now for a few safety rules. First, when you come to lab, you need to have your hair pulled back, no loose clothing, and closed-toed shoes. Second, no eating or drinking in the lab. Definitely no running. And never touch, eat, or directly smell any substances you are working with unless otherwise specified by your teacher. The alternative title for this slide is Using Common Sense. So, in general, these will help to keep the lab as safe as possible. In case of any accident or emergency, ranging from I broke a test tube to there's a raging 4-alarm fire in the corner, tell your teacher immediately. It's essential your teacher knows what happened, and then you can listen for instructions from your teacher on what to do next. This concludes our lab safety video. Take a moment to review the goals and make sure you understand everything covered in this video.
In addition to lab goggles, there's some other really important safety equipment in the lab. Let's take a look at that. Facing the board at the front of the room, oh shoot, sorry,